Do you label us a victim or suspect on suspect? Death on our doorstep, dressed up in cone heads as Forex with Gore-Tex, fought against all bets.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The One, the only show in the world that's dedicated to helping you help others. Today, we're going to have an exciting show. We have the One family in the building.
Hey.
Just real quick, I want to give some quick introductions. First, I got my man, DJ Red, Oscar McGraw.
What's going on? How y'all doing today?
All right, and I got Jonathan, a.k.a. the guy, or that guy.
Good people, what's going on?
And I'm happy to introduce one of our newest members, the wonderful, beautiful Miss Clianda Yarde.
Yes, hello everyone.
First of all, this show is entitled When the Smoke Clears. What we've noticed been going on a lot for anyone that's actually breathing. There's been a lot of protests going on, a lot of marches, a lot of everything. But what people are, the problem what we're seeing is there's no aftermath. Like people, it's easy to go somewhere and protest for a couple hours. It's easy to march. And I see, like I'm a part of a group now that has probably 1.8 million members. But constantly I see people say, okay, what's next? One of the great things about the One movement, we're the what next. The people we have in the room are very, very interesting. You guys are interesting all the time anyway, but everyone brings a different dynamics. First, I want to talk to DJ Red, Oscar. One key thing about you when you joined the One movement, prior to that, you had been a part of a couple community organizations.
Yes.
And I want to guess maybe 7 or 8 years?
Yes, 8 years.
And one of the things that you said that touched me, when you became a part of the movement, you became active. You said this constantly. You were like, man, I've been waiting for this all my life.
Absolutely.
And the reason that hit me is because I'm thinking to myself, yo, he's been a part of everything. He's Mr. Rochester. But he's literally been a part of everything that has something to do in the community. So what I would like is just share that experience you've had in the past, and what makes this so different to you.
The difference between We Are One and the other organizations that I've dealt with is the fact that We Are One actually go out and deal with people. We don't walk by and rant expressions or what we can do for the community. We actually go out in the community and do things for the community.
So what you're saying is, in the past maybe 8 years you've been involved. You haven't experienced people actually going out and, I guess, for lack of a better word, engaging
Absolutely.
Other people.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this real quick. If there were anything that you could change about the One movement, what would it be?
Nothing.
You know what? That would absolutely nothing.
Because I'll move on then.
Hey, that would have been my answer as well. Next, I want to talk to Jonathan, that guy. Now, Jonathan has been a part of the One movement and Play One International since almost the beginning. And you bring a very different perspective because of your background, because you're what they call a, what would be the word?
Baby.
Yeah, he's a baby. He's the baby of the crew. Little bro.
And your insight and your intake is more from a religious standpoint because you've been in the church your entire life.
Right.
Your father's a bishop. You're part of several different churches. You've been his... what do they call it when you're his right hand?
Armor bearer.
Yeah, armor bearer. Armor bearer. You're part of a lot of conversations with a lot of the ministers in Rochester. What do you think is it that not only grabbed your interest with the One movement, but has kept it? Because you know how hard it is to keep young men involved in pretty much anything.
Absolutely.
If it ain't music or video games. What do you feel it is that has captured your attention and kept it?
I say this one word. Relationships. Relationships has been my driving force. When you are in the church, there's a tendency to get in that background of, remaining religious. So when I got into the One movement, I got to start to see the community and how they feel. That's a relationship, I will never, ever forget. And it's ongoing. So when I see the church, kind of moving towards, okay, let's be traditional. That means they don't want to be relational with the community. So basically, when I'm out here, let's say every Monday, every Saturday, this is my safe haven. That's something I'm questioning with the church. Are they a place of refuge anymore? And necessarily, I don't feel that right now.
So, I just want to be clear, make sure I'm wording it right. So you're saying that the one movement, because I want everybody to hear this, the one movement is definitely not moving you further away from God.
Absolutely.
But it's moving you further away from organized religion. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Absolutely. And how I would put this is that in church, we have a tendency to play. Out here in the streets, I got to be real. I got to be authentic. So that's going to be the difference. Yeah,
and I agree. And I always said that's one thing about us. Because of our talking points, we're able to communicate with anyone and break down that barrier. Miss Yarde.
Yes.
What was amazing? We get a lot of people on our website. A lot of people, probably the past 2 months, over 800 people from all across the U.S. Who log into the website, and I have the part where tell us why you should be a part of it.
Yes.
And I don't remember exactly, but your message of why you should be a part of the one movement made me, I reached out to John. I sent him the screenshot. We need to talk to her.
Immediately.
And the reason I said that, because I can tell the difference. A lot of times people's, the way they feel or their care for the community is external and not internal. And what I gathered from not just that message, but from our conversations, that your love and your drive to rebuild communities is internal.
Yes.
And when it's internal, you move different.
Totally.
You move different. You're not thinking of trying to be in the front of every camera.
That's right.
And when you're internal, it's consistent. You wake up thinking like that, like our entire team. We wake up thinking about people, and we go to sleep thinking about people. So if you can, first of all, share with us, you being one of our newest members, share with us, first of all, your background, and we'll start with that. Share with us with that.
All right, so giving you a snapshot of Clianda. My maiden name is Florence. My grandfather is Franklin Florence. My father is Clifford Florence. They're both pioneers in Rochester as being ministers. I am a preacher's daughter and granddaughter. I've been brought up in a church, and one of the things that my grandfather and father have instilled in us is the importance of ministry work. So our church has always been immersed in the community and ministry work. When my grandfather started the work 50 years ago at Central, everything he did was community focused. And that was kind of hard for a lot of ministers in Rochester because of their inability to understand that piece of who Jesus is and what he expects of us, and that we can't walk past people in their situations and put our heads in the sand. So he started ministry works like Meals with Love that we've been doing for 50 years every first and third Saturday. We have a clothing closet. We have a jail ministry. We have a community involvement piece of our church that gets out and deals with different issues in the community. We have Bible correspondence where we send lessons into the jails. We interact with their families. So we have a piece with education. My father's a part of the Take It Down Initiative, Faith Community Alliance. So everything about who I am has been immersed in understanding that the Lord we serve is not one who looks for people to come to him, but we look to go out and service the needs of people, because my grandfather's instilled in us that everybody can be great because everyone can serve. So it's not an option of serving, it's finding your niche and being consistent within that service. So I don't have an option to be able to meet the needs of people, and that's what pushed me into the arena of education, because I wanted to see how can I use my niche, my passion to not only infiltrate our community, but infiltrate the minds of our young people. And I've been a sixth grade teacher for over 12 years. So I am not the one that likes to sit behind the walls, and that's something we push to people. And a lot of people are not used to that ideology. The traditionalism of religion means I want you to come to me. And the Bible says that Jesus went out. And the problem is a lot of people don't understand. The Bible says in all thy getting, get an understanding. A lot of our people are void of understanding, which is the reason the church should be leading everything.
Right.
The problem is the people in the church are so stuck on self-preservation, me, my, and I syndrome. It doesn't impact me until it impacts my doorstep. So what my father and grandfather have taught me, you need to be the pulse. You need to go out and be the temperature to see what people's needs are. And then we create ministries to meet those needs.
Absolutely. That's excellent. So now you are obviously a warrior in this fight for change. So by you having that experience and coming up surrounded about that, what is it that attracted you to the one movement when you could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing?
One of the things that, like you just said about relationships, it's all about relationship building and being action oriented. One of the things that captivated me when I looked at the information was about being about action, moving as one. And that's what Christ said. He said, we are one. So when I saw that and I saw, some of the work that you all have done and I read up on it, it just like grabbed me because I'm so tired of people just talking, meeting to meet and fearful of action, and you all do not appear to be fearful of not only getting in the streets but really getting to the heart of where the pain is. And that's where a lot of people struggle. They go around a situation for 40 years and it takes them so long to get to the heart because of that fear of the unknown. And I really believe that's something that you all do. I believe I can learn from what you all are doing, and then I can bring my expertise of what I know in the Rochester community to the group as well.
Absolutely. I love that. And going back to that, that's one of the things you alluded to in the message you left. Like, okay, not only can I be of assistance, but I also see this as a learning tool as well. Well, I can learn how to further my assignment.
Yes.
Okay, next we have in the room is Willie Lucky Wynn. Lucky has, he and I have been a longtime friend for 1,000 years.
At least.
And I remember in the past you would approach me. Like I remember there were times 7 or 8 years ago you would reach out when I was, was part of different things and say, listen, I want to work in the community. I want to help kids. I want to do different things. One thing I want to know is why isn't, because you know everything, meaning like you know everybody, you're well-rounded as far as the city. When you reached out to 7 or 8 years ago, what it seems like you actually did was, even though you had the opportunity to go other places, you waited for this. You waited for that call. Why do you think that is?
Well, I know the reason why, because basically me watching the other groups and what they were doing, it wasn't fulfilling to me. So I know it wasn't fulfilling to the kids or the community. You understand what I'm saying? And when I brought it to your attention, me knowing you, I know that you would be able to bring something that everybody would need and want.
Thank you.
You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, and then with everything, patience is a virtue.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I waited for my chance. This is my chance.
Wow, I like that. And going back, I was just thinking about something Ms. Yarde said, like a lot of times, even with religion, where we go around and we're scared to directly engage. And I remember when, after the virus and we decided to move forward with the movement, I told John, I said, listen, it's only 5 people I need. I say everybody else can go on social media and say, hey, I need 30 people to put on some shirts and walk with me. I specifically said, it's only 5 people I need to really rock and roll in this community. And if I get these 5 people, it doesn't matter who else. And you were one of the obviously the first ones. Right. Because going back to what Ms. Yarde said, I knew initially I needed people who were familiar with the streets and wasn't scared of nothing in the streets. I'm not saying that you're Superman, but you and I both know, because we know each other very well, that we will walk up to anyone and we have the communication skills where we don't talk above them.
That's right.
We don't say, listen, here's what I'm doing. You need to be like me. We have that ability, and even outside of our talking scripts we have designed, we have that energy that a dude can be standing in front of us with a pistol in his waist and a bag full of drugs. But he respects us because of our energy, and he can feel, hey, he's been there. They've been there. So, and they're talking to me, not at me. And I think that's one of the big differences. And like I said, like you, Oscar, I just knew there was a certain group I immediately needed.
But see, the thing is, you can't relate to a person's situation unless you've been through it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Experience is the best teacher. So the thing is, like you said, when we approach them, they respect us because they know we've been there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So they look at us like, okay, I know what they was doing, but look at them now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's growth in everything. You know what I'm saying? But you got to want to grow. See what I'm saying? But those who don't want to grow, if that seed is planted right, they'll grow anyway.
And that reminds me of something Jonathan said. We did the walk one time, and I remember standing on the corner. I was like, "Yo, this is one of the roughest streets, so we might have some problems." But we wind up walking down the street and almost knowing everybody.
Everybody on the street.
Yeah. All the dudes embrace us like, "Man, listen, if y'all in it, I definitely want to be a part of it." And I remember Jonathan saying, he said what he learned that day was that it's the street cred. It's the people from the street that are going to make the change. It's not the pastors or preachers who've never experienced it. And when you said that, that was powerful. And what I want to know, Jonathan, what is it collectively that when did you realize that? Was it that day doing that particular walk after I kind of coached everybody like, this street is off the chain. They do a lot on this street. So here we go.
Right. No, I honestly believe the first time I got to meet Red, Luck, and you know, we're all at the park. You know, people have a tendency to say, okay, street people, they have no direction. Okay, we love to say that they're going nowhere and nowhere fast. But I'm sitting in the park, and I have a little, you know, I'll admit I was scared a little bit. And I'm scared because it's like, I don't know them like that, you know, but I'm willing to embrace them. But what happened was they embraced me first. So they're engaging with you in conversation, and they immediately brought me in. And I sat back and I thought for a moment, wow, I just gained brothers. I never had brothers before.
Right.
But I gained real brothers that will look out for me in the streets. They will look out for me anywhere. So even now when I hear, you know, Red, you know, call me, let's say early in the morning, late at night, it's all love. And so I had to think, okay, when we go down these streets, you know, they're approaching people with love and compassion. You know, no matter what they've been through, I could look at them and say, look, those some bad brothers right there. You know, they know what they're doing. I'm going to learn from them because they don't need to learn from me right now. I need to take all the information that they're going to give me and use it strategically. So everything I'm learning is powerful, and I commend y'all for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And I always thank you very much. And I always say that, you know, coming from, you know, your upbringing and what you're learning now, you're gonna be a monster in the community.
Oh, yeah, please, y'all don't, I know I don't like recognition like that.
You know, you having the ability and being able to look at the world from not just the very strict, strong religious aspect, looking through it through those glasses, but actually being in the community. You're gonna be that guy. You're already that guy, but another 4 or 5 years, you're gonna really be that guy. Miss Yarde, just listening to, like I was saying, you're fresh into this, and it's weird because, and like I told you yesterday on the phone, I said before we even talked to you, I told Jonathan like, yeah, we want her at the top. Yeah, we want her at the top. What's your thought process as far as moving forward?
My thought process is just, again, adding to what I've always been grown, born, bred to do, and that is using what my grandfather and father have laid for me, understanding the examples that they have been for me and to me, and then engaging with other people like yourselves to take that and just take it to a whole nother level. Because when I look at the young people that I teach and just gleaming on the fact that so many of them, I've gone to their funerals. I've gone, rolled up on them on the streets and just, grabbed them up and asked them, why you out here? And really understanding the why, because when I looked at one of the things that drew me to you all was about love and purpose. And see, many of the young boys that I teach, their purpose is a little jagged. And because they are trying to figure out who they are, and the street code is telling them one thing about what being a man is, their fathers are no longer there or were murdered or in prison themselves. So they're trying to, basically in the dark, trying to feel their way through about being a man. So I know, and I tell them all the time, all Miss Yarde could do is love you and nurture on you, but it takes a man to show you how to be a man. And I believe one of the biggest mistakes we make as women in the community today is we try to take upon the role and responsibility of a man, and what we end up doing is sissifying our men. And I don't say that and mean that in any disrespectful way, but we basically get them to the point where they're not able to be men that God created them to be, and that's protectors and providers. And they have a false notion of what protecting and providing is through the eyes of the streets. So like how you all said, having the opportunity to grow and glow. Many of them are not able to do that. Like one of my friends was just murdered on Sunday. And again, last Sunday, and you sit here and think at 39, just all of the life he had ahead of him, the things that he went through behind him, and how he was trying to work his way out of this life, but how the streets and then that freedom kind of kept going like this. And so many of my young men have that movement. And I tell them, I said, listen, do you know what it takes to be able to sell drugs, promote it, distribution,
takes some real
communication,
marketing. Yeah, it takes a lot.
And math.
Right.
Like I can't get it. I said, boy, you got a whole scale that you read and you break stuff down and you bag it. I said, that's math. You doing some good math right here. And science, chemistry to be exact.
Right.
And I try to tell them, I said, so don't downplay skills. It's how do you now repurpose those skills? Because I basically broke it down and told him, I said, okay, let's look at the time you spend on the corner. How much money do you use to get your product? How much time are you now spending to try to promote your product? How much money are you really making once you pay the person that got you out here and your product? You're making less than minimum wage. I said, so do you see the importance of understanding your why? And then understanding what it takes to maintain your why. And then understanding the gifts you have, but misappropriating them, therefore not understanding your true purpose. So when you really begin to have those type of skilled conversations with them, to take them and honor what they bring to the table,
right,
but now elevate that to another level, and they need to see more Black men who have been not only able to overcome, but can give them the tools and the guidance consistently, because many of them are thirsty, but they're thirsting after the wrong well to drink from.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. And one thing that I want to say to our listeners about the One Movement, I get a lot of emails, a lot of messages from different organizations that want to partner. I get a lot of emails and direct messages from organizations that want to walk with us. Mm-hmm. And we have a model. We have a system. We're not winging it. On social media, we show the walks in the community. We show when we're engaging, but we have a system, and we're doing everything from connecting our community to resources to having conversations about opening campuses. We're working on the first Black-owned grocery store in upstate New York. We just went last week to look at a safe haven house.
Absolutely.
We want to put houses in the roughest communities and let those houses be where, okay, when you want to, let your guard down and, you don't want to be tough no more, is somebody here for you. When you want to say, you know what, I'm tired of this, or I got a problem with somebody, is somebody here for you, and someone whose motive is authentic. Our motive is real because we've been there. So I just want people to know that if you're an organization, reach out, and our response is, nah, we good. That's a slogan we got. We always say when somebody reach out to us, like, nah, we good, because we have a model. We have a system. Everything we do, from the time we go out to what we say to when we go out to different phases, is all written. So we're not taking away from any other organization, but we're not playing with this. We have a model, and we're looking at it on an international level. Right. So, we're doing everything from the community. We have the whole education system, and we've tested the waters even prior to COVID, knowing that we can literally go global whenever we feel like it.
Right.
I know it sounds crazy, for lack of a better word, but Jonathan and I have personally experienced that. We've personally tested the waters and been on the phone with mayors, directors of economic development, directors of homeland security. And I said that to say that we are what's here after the smoke clears. Everyone, it's easy to go downtown and march for an hour because that's the only commitment you have to give. You can come back home and get on social media, but for people who really, really has it in their heart and spirit to want to see real change, we have the formula. We have the formula. Is tried and true. We're never guessing. We're never winging it. We're out there, and we just have it. We're the what next. Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to knock what anybody else do. Everybody do them, but we are the real deal.
Absolutely.
We are the real deal. Anything anybody else would like to add? Any thoughts? Oh, here we go. Here come that guy. Hey, I saw his wheels turning. Here come that guy.
I just want to say, this episode, when the smoke clears, I want everybody to realize this, all during this time, during this pandemic, what have we been going through? We've heard many voices, but no plan. So to be a part of this movement means that you believe in a vision. You are not willing to settle for a crabs in the barrel mentality. And it's time our people start uniting together and stop knocking down everybody else's vision. Because you just may not know that vision is what is needed at this particular moment. So let's not plan for 2025. The vision is set in stone.
So let me ask you this, piggybacking off that. So are you saying that to knock anyone else's vision, that people should also try other community organizations? Or would you honestly say, like, nah, don't waste your time, come straight to us?
What I'll say is find what's best for you and put it to action. Because as a young black male, if I see you walking up, down the streets, Black Lives Matter this, Black Lives Matter that. Well, how about, the community members that don't have food, they don't have, security for their children at night when they go to work, so nobody's thinking outside that box. And so, stepping into this, it was like, whew, there's an actual plan. There's an actual vision here. So everybody needs to understand that, look, you can talk, you can hide behind social media posts, but what is that doing? That's turning people back into the same environment. And so for me, growing up in a religious sector, none of that matters anymore. Okay, it's time to put the boots to the ground and mean what you say. Because, I'm of the mindset now, talk is cheap. They say if you're not talking, if you're not, speaking on certain issues, you're not with us. But, I disagree at this point. If they're not talking and not acting, then it's a problem.
Right.
But I just need you to act. Actually do something. Actually act like you care about the community members. And I don't feel that right now.
Well, one thing I wanted to add with that, this is a social work term about micro, meso, macro. And when you think about how so many people jump to the macro level, and the macro is more of, the world at large, major issues, because that's always something that's appealing because it's already been written for you because somebody else already started it. But when you move back down to that meso and micro movement, that's where it's going to take real work and planning and implementation. And most of the people are not built for that. Most of the people are looking for someone else to do the work, and they jump on the bandwagon or the coattails. And what I've been brought up in is you have to start with the I. And the I then bleeds into the home. The home then bleeds into the community and the church. And until we begin to move that way, starting with self, moving into the community, and then into the greater picture, then we're going to lose the understanding. Because how can I, again, go to this issue where the gentleman who was shot in his back, I think that's a horrible situation. But when you're seeing the number of murders that are happening in Rochester, I want anybody to tell me the last time somebody has been shot in Rochester by an officer. It's been years, but you have over 100 men of African descent who have been killed at the hands of other men of African descent, and there's been no outrage. There's been no marching. There's been no shutting down 490. There's been no going into the harshest communities and asking these brothers, what's the why? Why is the street code pushing you to take your fellow brother's life? What is it about you that you don't love about yourself that's allowing you to just break down, that whole exchange to the point where you're not allowing one another to grow through it? You're snatching life, taking a father, taking a son, taking a grandfather. So now we're causing greater harm to our own community, and no one's feeling outraged about that.
Why do you, and it's 'cause something that you said had me thinking, and I saw somebody put this on social media, said, we as black people, we don't want to put in the work. We're waiting for that super Negro. We're waiting for that Martin Luther King or that Marcus Garvey to come and take the load for everyone. And what you're saying is spot on. We need everyone individually to take on that responsibility, because I think that, take Rochester for instance, if we spent more time focusing on the real issues instead of partying in the park or being at the beach and all that, I think we could see change in weeks. I literally think we can see change in weeks if everyone individually take that on ourselves. Okay, so we got DJ Red back in the house. And let me ask you, I want you to close us out with your thoughts on what it will take for the city of Rochester to really see that change, and more importantly, to really see, like Ms. Yarde had talked about, we'll get together and march downtown and Black Lives Matter all day, and we'll spray paint and do all that, when that particular issue doesn't affect us directly. What's affecting us directly is people that look like us are being killed and assaulted and robbed by other people that look like us.
Right.
So what do you think that, if you could have it your way, what would you like to see? If someone said, Oscar, whatever you decide to do, we're going to close it out with you. If someone said, Oscar, how would you like to see true change? What would you like for us to do? What would you like to see done?
To continue our strategy, the We Are One strategy.
So you would tell the whole world just join We Are One, or tell all of Rochester to join We Are One?
Absolutely.
You know what?
Absolutely.
I have to agree with you 100%.
I mean, being where I came from, the organizations, I mean, no one gave what we're giving now.
Right.
Everyone wanted to march and talk about all the pain that they have in their heart and talk about current events, but no one wanted to engage on those events with the people.
Okay.
We walk by and stop the violence, but we're not talking to people like we do door to door.
We're not actually stopping the violence.
Right. No.
Yeah. It's a great hashtag.
Right.
We good with hashtags. So we'll follow them and promote them. We're the hashtag kings, but it's that physical work that counts. Well, I want to thank my team for being in the house. The energy is great as always. It's all love, and I just want to end with this. And I saw a quote recently, and it made so much sense. It's not black versus white. It's black versus racism. And your inability to separate the two is equally problematic.
Right.
One mission, one family, one love, and we're out.
It's all set. I found my pace. Now these brush me. Got $1 million smile. Started with some buck teeth. Show you how to get it now. Bet you niggas trust me. Young black with a gift. Must be. Oh, we got new names. You gotta add with a gift. Add with a gift. Add with a gift. Oh, we got new names. You gotta add with a gift. Add with a gift. Add with a gift. Like Clancy with a gift. T-Dan with a gift. T-Y with a gift. B-Will with a gift. Shia with a gift. Kyle with a gift. Claude with a gift. We all with a gift. Like